If you thought the arrest of one of its most prominent promoters might be a blow to Bitcoin, then you haven't been here today. This two-day hearing into virtual currencies is at the New York Department of Financial Services, and participants have been saying they think Bitcoin might be outgrowing its Wild West origins. The drug traders and their alleged accomplices who were first to adopt the currency are being tracked down and charged. Legitimate Bitcoin entrepreneurs and investors, meanwhile, are practically begging to be regulated. As a certain Cameron Winklevoss told the hearings, the Wild West attracts cowboys. A sheriff would be a good thing.
People are ready, they're doing it, they're working 24/7 on these innovations, but they're running into problems in deploying them here in the U.S. Some are choosing to go outside the United States, which is really is much to our detriment because they can't get the kind of clarity that they need at the state level. So they're taking the ideas, they're taking the resources, and ultimately the wealth that's going to come from these innovations.
If Bitcoin's going to become a threat to Visa and MasterCard as a way of moving money, or a threat to gold as a store of value, then mainstream investors and banks are going to need to feel safe dealing with it. New York's Ben Lawsky wants to be the first state regulator to set clear rules of the road for virtual currency businesses.
My hope is that Bitcoin is very much at a tipping point and is moving from an earlier phase when it was dominated by sometimes some individuals who were more interested in the illicit nature of it and what they could hide from people, and moving into a phase where it's more mainstream and we'll start to realize a lot of the benefits of digital currency without having as much of the negatives of money laundering.
I think to get past the initial libertarian cryptographer base of customers, for Bitcoin to move really to the mainstream, there has to be a higher level of trust, and there has to be a higher level of consumer and investor protection, and that's where regulators come in. The Bitcoin story is just getting started. There's probably only a few million users worldwide who own Bitcoin, who are using Bitcoin, but those numbers I think are growing exponentially right now.
It looks like a case of in with the new guard, out with the old. Charlie Shrem, an early Bitcoin millionaire and one of the most flamboyant promoters of the currency, was accused Monday of helping funnel money to drug traders on the illegal site Silk Road. Mr. Shrem was one of those who often argued that Bitcoin was bigger than any government, even the US. Many Bitcoin pioneers don't like the enthusiasm with which new entrepreneurs want to be regulated.
But we have contingency plans. I have a plane ticket ready to take me to Singapore. Nice. With another corporation already set up. And, you know, a lot of us core Bitcoiners are ready to go to jail for Bitcoin.
I'd say there's very much a split between that portion of the Bitcoin community and what I would say is the mainstream Bitcoin community, those who are looking to take Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies into the mainstream and have it used for regular commerce. You've got people who are continuing to work on creating ways to make the cryptocurrencies more anonymous. Well, if you want to gain acceptance in mainstream commerce, it's clear based on the regulatory structures at the federal and the state level that we're going to have to have more customer identification and due diligence.
Events this week have shown that the great experiment in virtual currencies is moving into a new phase. We've seen the future, and it's pretty heavily regulated. Stephen Foley, Financial Times, New York.